Hello, Green Spring. We're back in the studio, and with me now is somebody from the Pastoral Ministries team, Miriam Gentle, Pastoral Associate.
Hello.
Good morning, Miriam.
Hi, good morning.
Good to see you again.
It's good to see you too.
And you have stuff for us, information on what's going on in Pastoral Ministries.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us?
Okay, I'll do that. The upcoming events for May are as follows. Starting this afternoon at 1 o'clock.
Ooh, today,
Tuesday, May 7th at 1 o'clock is On the Basis of Sex. And this movie is about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, RBG as she's known in some circles. Yeah. And it's actually a very well done movie. I haven't seen it yet, but I read a little bit about it. And it's gotten very good reviews. It came out in 2018. And it's a story of Ruth Bader Ginsburg and how she took on this big case.
Yes.
And because of that, it changed her career. Yeah. It changed the trajectory of her career. Yeah. So she eventually became a women's rights attorney.
Yeah. And it also changed the judicial landscape of this country.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. And it's different. Sorry to interrupt you, but I read about it too.
Good.
It's different from the other movie that ran here a few months ago that was actually called RBG.
Right.
About
it's a different,
her life.
Yes.
So that
was that more of a documentary, I think?
Yeah, I believe so. And it was about her personal life more than the how
actual
she
case.
Developed her legal strategy.
Right, right.
And that's different about this one, correct?
Yes, I think this one is more of the inspirational, her life and the struggles at the beginning of her married life. Her husband was sick. He was a law student also.
Right.
And he got sick, and if I understand correctly, she would go to class for him.
Yes.
Take notes, and then she also had her studies, and they had a young child. I don't know how she did all that, but God bless her.
Yeah.
She was able to do that. So I recommend the movie highly. It'll be today at 1 o'clock.
Now, is there a relationship between that movie and Pastoral Ministries?
We like to show movies that are inspirational, that show how when life throws you lemons, you can make lemonade kind of movies, like what do you learn from the life of people who have had to struggle and yet succeed and come out of it stronger and are able to do something with what they're given. So that's the faith component. It's not necessarily a faith-based movie.
Well, it makes sense. So,
but
context.
yeah. So that's what's happening today. Then we have Faith, Grief, and Loss. It's written here as Thursday, May 9th, but that was actually last Thursday. It's the first Thursday of the month. So that is a mistake. So I'm sorry if you missed it, but look for it the first Thursday of every month. So this happened last week, and I actually led that session. Faith, Grief, and Loss is a time for people who have experienced loss, whether it was recently or years ago, and it's not just for residents, it's staff can also avail themselves of this, also family members. And it's a time where Pastoral Ministries, we rotate the leadership, and we just invite people to come together and just talk about what's going on in their lives, how they're processing their grief. How are they processing their grief? How can we be helpful to them?
So it's an open group?
It is an open group.
And if you feel it would help you to talk about it, or there's something that puzzles you or keeps you from moving forward, this would be a good place.
And a lot of times it's in those groups that we make connections with other people, and we realize, well, we're not the only ones grieving. Other people are grieving also. And we either take comfort in that or find ways to get outside of ourselves to help that other person. And in doing that, we sometimes help in the grief process.
Yes.
So everyone grieves differently. Everyone experiences loss differently. But we all experience it in some way. And then when we share, we find out that we are maybe stronger than we think, or someone else has an advice or something that can help. So we encourage all residents that would like to partake of this to come. It's in the chapel. First Thursday of the month, which was last Thursday.
And it was one of those rare occasions when the first of the month is a Thursday.
Very early in the month, right. So apologies for that, May 9th.
But it's not necessarily a group where it's about faith and praying together.
No.
It's more about
No.
coming together and finding community.
Right. Again, we are Pastoral Ministries, so we will mention, a higher power. But it's open to any person of faith, any or not. You're grieving. You've lost someone. Let's help each other get through this. So it's not a particular faith or denomination. It's anybody that would like to come and just have
And you
that
just show up. You don't have to sign up beforehand.
No. And we have some people that come regularly, others that come once, and that's good.
Yeah.
So there's no rules. It's just an hour.
Open group.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. Other things coming up, the Catholic community is hosting their spring luncheon, and that's coming up on Tuesday, May 14th. So if you're part of the Catholic community, I invite you to reach out to Diane Nugent, is the Catholic Pastoral Associate.
Yeah.
And she would have more information if you need more information. But it's Tuesday, May 14th at 11:30 in the Jefferson Dining Room.
Okay.
Okay. And then towards the end of the month, I'm really excited about this. On Tuesday, May 21st at 1:30 in the Village Square Theater, we are hosting Barbara Ferguson. She's our guest speaker. So Barbara Ferguson is the team lead for cybersecurity and communications in the Department of Homeland Security. So
Say that again.
she is the team lead
for
cybersecurity and communications in the Department of Homeland Security, U.S. Department of Homeland Security.
Okay.
And she will be with us to talk about Islam, understanding Islam, misconception and misunderstanding. That's the title of the event, Understanding Islam, Misconception and Misunderstanding. And I think this is such an important subject because there are a lot of misconceptions, there are a lot of misunderstandings about Islam, only because we might not know someone who's Muslim. We might not know people of that faith, and so where do we get our information about Islam? Are we getting it from the movies? That might not be the best source. Or are we getting it from some news source that's biased in one way or the other? So we have to be careful, what we take in, and use our filters as far as trying to understand Islam, and not assume that the stereotypes that are put out there by Hollywood or others is the truth.
Right.
So Barbara Ferguson will...
In addition to maybe misconceptions, like you said, I think there's also a vast area of lack of knowledge, of nothingness.
Right.
Because it's not a topic that is easily and often discussed.
That's true.
So
that's true.
that really
Did you
fills
know
the
that
need
Ramadan just started?
Yes, I was just going to say, it has particular poignancy this month.
That's right. So
Yeah.
Ramadan is the month of fasting.
Right.
I had the good fortune to travel to Istanbul with a group. It was a Muslim Christian group that wanted to do interreligious dialogue and talk about each other's faith and how we can have common ground. And I was able to travel to Istanbul with this group, and I learned so much about, and we stayed in the old city, and you could hear the call to prayer 4:30 in the morning, but it was just fascinating, and I learned so much, and I appreciate the faith, even the differences. I appreciate that. It's good to learn about the different faith traditions.
Oh, it's important.
Different ways that God is worshipped.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I invite people to come out to that because I think some of your questions might be answered. I hope that if you have questions about Islam, maybe jot them down ahead of that conversation. And if they're not answered, there might be a time for, I'm not sure how it's being put together, but there might be a question answer period. So I encourage you to think about what do you know about Islam? What don't you know about Islam? What would you like to know?
Or is it correct that Because that's what
Exactly.
you just read or heard
Exactly.
2 weeks ago, or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
that doesn't make sense in
Right.
your world.
Right. So we have someone here who's a journalist who has
Oh, that's
studied.
what she is?
She's among
a
other
journalist
things,
by
she's a
trade.
journalist.
Is she a Muslim?
She is
or-
not a Muslim, but
Oh,
she
so
has.
that's really interesting
Yes.
to bring a perspective from somebody who's on the outside in a way herself.
Right. She has actually studied the faith or the Arab world also enough that she could speak about this. Interestingly enough, though, not all Arabs are Muslim,
Right.
and not all Muslims are Arabs.
That's right.
So that might be something that if you go to this, you might pick up on, because actually the largest, I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, but I think the largest country that has the largest Muslim population is not even Arab, it's Indonesia.
Yes.
And
That's-
is that?
it's what I know, too.
Yes. So a lot of people immediately think Middle East, Arab,
Right.
Muslim, and
Yeah.
that's really not
Well,
the
that's so
case.
prominent in our news.
Right, right. News and movies and so forth.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so that'll be
So-
May 21st.
Okay, May 21st, and where exactly and when exactly?
Village Square Theater at 1:30.
1:30.
Tuesday,
okay.
May 21st. Put that on your calendar.
Yes, yeah. That sounds like a really interesting
It,
event.
I'm sure it will be.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And those are all our upcoming events.
Yeah, it looks like a busy month for you.
It is a busy month.
You doing anything special for Memorial Day?
We don't have anything planned, especially for Memorial Day. It is a day to observe and also to relax if you have the day off. But no specific events.
Okay. Well, you
here
have
to
given
that.
us quite a few leading up to that
Yes,
weekend.
Yes, yes.
So hopefully you will all take advantage of all this. Thank you so much for working on bringing the community together and supporting, giving opportunities to support each other in different
Absolutely.
ways from other departments.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There is one other thing, if people get a chance to, we've changed the display cases right outside of the chapel.
Yeah.
People might not know that we have display cases there, but we encourage people to go visit. The most recent display is Greek Orthodox icons, and they are absolutely beautiful.
Yes. I'm glad you mentioned that. I saw that the other day. When I have visitors here on campus, I always go by the chapel
Yes.
to show them the artwork.
Yes.
Because it's, the stained glass window right there.
Right,
And then
yeah.
the showcases and then
Yes.
the weavings and
Yes.
textile work
Yes.
in the chapel.
Right. So Jeannie Hennepin, who is one of our colleagues, one of my peers, has put together this display with the help of a resident, and the artwork is on loan from St. Mark's Greek
Oh,
Orthodox
okay.
in Bethesda, among other things.
I'm glad you mentioned
Yeah,
that.
so go by and
thank
see
you.
that if you haven't
Yeah.
had a chance to.
Yeah,
go by.
Go
Yeah.
by and see that. And believe it or not, our time is up.
Is that right?
I think, yes, it's always faster than you think,
Oh,
right?
good.
Thank you so much for coming today
You're
and
welcome.
updating us on activities and pastoral ministries,
You're welcome.
Miriam.
Yes.